Hi, I'm Jo from CPAP Victoria. I'm here to show you how to set up your Airsense 10 device. So the Airsense 10 comes complete with all its components in the bag. So just open it up and we'll remove the actual machine itself. That is the CPAP machine. There is a water chamber for the humidifier. In the zipped compartment of the bag, you will find the heated tubing. And in the front flap of the bag, you will find the power supply unit. I've got a power supply unit plugged into the wall down here, and it's ready to go. So, here is the device. The first thing we'll do is connect up the power. So turning it around the back, it just connects into the power hole at the back, but you do need to make sure you push it in really firmly, or otherwise it won't power up the device. Secondly, we've got the water chamber here. The water chamber opens and you're able to fill it with distilled water. We do ask for distilled water only to be used, mainly because it keeps the chambers lovely and clean and we don't have that mineral deposit left. You will find on the front a little marked line that is the fill line. So fill the water level up to just below that line and it slides into the side of the device where there is a heating plate. So it just slides in like that. The top clip here is just a grip, it's not a release clip, so it simply slides out and pushes in. So when you use the device, you will be using the water and the level will drop. So the next morning, it's a good idea to have a look at how much it has dropped, and then for the first couple of days, all you'll need to do is top up that water level. Always have it just below the fill line there. After a few days, you will then throw the water out, clean the chamber, and start again. The heated tubing has two very different looking ends. So you've got the connection end that goes onto the device. It has an electrical connection, but even so, it is a sealed connection, so when you do come to your cleaning, it's quite safe to get it underneath the water. The back of the machine is where the tube connects. So as long as you line up that electrical connection with the little slot here, once you do that, you simply push it in and you'll hear it click into place. When you are removing it, you simply squeeze the end of the tube and pull. When it is on the machine, you can have it at any angle that suits your bedroom setup. The other end of the tubing will be connecting up to the mask. So it's a rubber end, it fits any mask, and you would simply put the end of your mask tubing into here. Some of the masks won't have a short tube, some will just have a little connection up here and the tubing would fit up the top there. It also helps to, if you're going to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and you need to stop the machine and walk to the bathroom, you can leave your mask on just by disconnecting. Okay. The side of the machine here, there is the air inlet. So it's important that you don't have that pushed up against a wall or cupboard, just to allow free-flowing air to be able to be accessed into the machine. The filter is there to filter out the dust particles in the air. Once a week when you're doing your regular inspection, you can just pop that down, take out the filter which is not washable, and just flick off the dust and pop it back inside and snap it into place. We also have a little SD card here in the top compartment. When you're using the device, the machine's actually going to be recording and sending the information to that SD card as well as back to us. Turning the machine on is the on-off button up the top here. So pressing it, you'll hear the device start to run and the pressure come through. I'll just block that to block out the noise. And what you will find is that your pressure setting will show in the middle circle. There'll be other settings showing on the screen for tubing and so forth, which you'll come to know as you go through your therapy trial. Now you'll notice that the screen has blacked out and also the light above here has blacked out. That's just so the light's not going to keep you awake in the bedroom at night. But the machine is still running, as you can hear. So to stop the device, it's the same button. Just simply press it and the device stops blowing. You will find though, once you turn it off, that on this particular device, for half an hour to an hour after you stop it, there'll be a small trickle of air that continues to flow. That's a cooling down mechanism of the device and it's not of a concern. When you have a look at the screen, you'll see a little feedback report pop up, which tells you how many hours you've managed to use the device. Now, if you do stop it in the middle of the night and restart it, don't be concerned because it will add all that use together. The second line shows you what we call your AHI. That's just a measure of your problematic breathing events, how many times per hour they are still present while you're on therapy compared to how they were before treatment. The next little happy smiley face at the top there, that's regarding the mask fit. So basically, if you've got a mask that's fitting quite reasonably, then you'll get a nice green smiley face. If there is a lot of leak, it'll be a red unhappy face, and then we'll just need to work out why that is and help you establish a better seal on the mask. Lastly, the little smiley face hiding a bit down the bottom, where are we? Down there, is concerned with the humidifier itself. If there's a malfunction of the humidifier, you'll see this red unhappy face present where the humidifier symbol is. Very rarely does this happen. Most of the time it will be green. Green is put there so that you know the humidifier is working according to its settings. Sometimes you'll find that the tube will feel warm and sometimes it won't, and people do get concerned that the humidifier has malfunctioned. But if that is happy green face, it's no problem. Hi, so now I'm going to explain to you how to care for your and clean your CPAP device. First of all, some parts are going to need to be cleaned weekly, some need to be cleaned a little bit more often. The products that we use in terms of the water can be just your tap water, and the products for the soap can be, if you have sensitive skin, something like Cetaphil or QV Wash, something that is kind to the skin. If you're not concerned with sensitive skin, then you can use a simple product just like Morning Fresh dishwashing liquid, provided that you thoroughly rinse it before you use the products. With the tubing, that can be done once a week. So basically, it's quite safe to get this electrical connection submerged underwater. Some people will elect to soak it for half an hour in warm soapy water, then rinse the water out from inside the tube, and then hang it up to simply drain. If you are putting the tubing back onto your device and you've got some beading of moisture in it, don't be too concerned. That can be blown out once you put the tubing on the machine and dry it out for you. Just pop that aside. All right, on the side here, there is a filter that lives in the inlet compartment. So that's going to filter out the dust and collect the dust. So once a week when you're doing your regular cleaning, just pop that down, take the filter out. There's no front or back to it, but it isn't washable. So just brush the dust off and just pop it back in there and off you go again. Eventually, if you have a device of your own, you'll be needing to replace that filter on a regular basis, maybe 3 or 6 monthly, depending on how dusty the environment is in which it's working. Lastly, for the device, you have the humidifier chamber. When you are washing the humidifier chamber, you can simply open it like this and remove the little seal inside. These parts again are washed in warm soapy water. Now if you're using distilled water, you only really need to wash this tub a couple of times a week when you're changing over the water. Rinse it with clear water and then just leave it to air dry. That just sits back inside here and you refill and off you go again. As far as the machine goes, if you do want to give it a wipe over, just use a damp cloth. So it sounds like you've got a fair bit to do, but in reality, once you get used to it, it really only takes about 10 minutes once a week and maybe 5 minutes on a daily basis when you're caring for your mask. You can get in to see your sleep report during the daytime. So if you highlight down the bottom where it says reports and enter into the sleep report menu, it will show you your results from last night. So you've got all your statistics there, how many hours you've used it for, how your problematic and breathing events are, your mask seal, if it's a happy smiley face, it's adequate. If it's red and unhappy, you've got too much leak, and your mask may need adjusting or you need some help to correct for that. And lastly, the humidifier. Green happy smiley face means that the humidifier is functioning correctly. Red unhappy smiley face means that there's a malfunction, and you should just let us know about it. Very rarely happens. If you'd like to go down further, there are options to look at varying different time periods for your report. Once you get a bit more data under your belt, you might decide to see a week of data. And then you can see your summary down the bottom there. So just to recap, going from the top screen, it's simply turning the button to highlight the reports, pressing the button to actually get into it, and you've got your report there on the screen. Now I'd like to show you how to adjust some of your settings and how to view them. So this is the starting screen. So if ever you're in a different screen, all you simply do is press the home button and it will take you to this screen. We're looking at getting into the top menu, which is called My Options. The dial here moves between the menus, but we wanted highlighting the top menu of My Options, and then to enter the menu, you simply press the dial. Then it will show you a list of different settings that you have access to. Now I probably won't go through all of these with you yet because it gets a bit overwhelming. When you first start though, there's a couple of settings that are helpful to know about. The first one we have here, and I've just turned the dial to highlight it, is called ramp time. So ramp time just means the time that you will be able to fall asleep on a lower setting. At the moment, this machine is currently set for what we call automatic ramp. So your therapist to set the machine to start off at a low level. You will be on that low level until the machine feels by your breathing that you are asleep, and then it's either going to start adjusting your pressure or taking it up to your set level. If you're not finding that comfortable though, we have another option, and if your therapist suggests that you change it to a fixed ramp, then all you need to do is press the dial to enter the setting and turn it anti-clockwise, and you'll see how the number is changing. The number on the screen relates to how many minutes the ramp is running for, and it decreases in 5-minute increments, and often we might suggest a 20-minute ramp time, for example, and if so, you adjust it and then you set it by pressing the dial. So now you'll see that it says ramp time 20 minutes. The second option I'd like to talk about is the humidity setting. So sometimes people like the air in the mask warmer, sometimes they'll like it a bit cooler, or sometimes the setting they're currently having on is causing problems such as water dripping in the mask or the tubing. So if we roll the highlight down again using the dial, we have an option for manual climate control. Now we often use this because it can fine-tune your humidifier a little bit better. Otherwise, in automatic climate control, the machine has the control over it. Sometimes we'll suggest using that, but if you're in a manual climate control mode, you have two settings that you can play with. The first one you come across is the heat of the tube. So the second one you come across is actually the humidity level, and these two interplay to give you a comfortable level of humidity. So if you're asked to or suggested to adjust your humidity level, this is the heating plate down the bottom underneath your water tub. On this device, it has settings of 0 to 8, as you can see here. And it simply adjusts in a similar way to the ramp time. So first of all, you press the button to get into the setting. You turn the dial to actually access a different level. This is increasing your humidity and reducing your humidity. And to set the new level, you simply press the dial again. Now, perhaps you're having a humidity level that is causing problems with water in the tube, and your therapist suggests that you might want to adjust that and increase your tubing setting, or you're feeling a bit too cold in the mask, in which case we'd look at adjusting the tube setting. So again, roll the highlight until it settles on the tubing temperature, and again pressing the dial to enter the menu and adjusting it. Anti-clockwise, we're reducing it, and clockwise is increasing it. The maximum temperature in the tube is 30 degrees, and if we're having that and we want that, we just press it and it will set it. It may sound a high level, 27 to 30 degrees, but in fact when we actually breathe, and we take the air through, it is warmed by the nose, and by the time it gets to the back of our throat, it's actually up at about 30 degrees. The difference is, though, this is coming from the outside. So we're really fine-tuning these settings for your own comfort. Now, the other options we have that might be valuable to you initially in the early days, I'll just roll down, is the actual mask test. So when you're falling asleep on a machine like this, it will be on your low starting pressure. And sometimes there will not be a leak, or if there is, it's very hard to detect. So what you can do is provide yourself with a higher level of pressure flow to actually test the mask before you go to sleep. So when you do this, you simply press the button to activate it once you've highlighted it. You will find the pressure flow will start running, and you'll get feedback on the screen. Now, if there's a lot of leak, you'll see this red unhappy face show up. If you're having a good seal, you will have a green smiley face. What I usually recommend is that with the green smiley face, it's important to have it, but then I would also forget about the screen after you've achieved it and lie down. Lie down, move around from side to side, and adjust your mask so that you can't feel or hear leak. Once you've achieved that, you can simply stop the test, and then you can start your therapy with the same button again, and off you go to sleep. Okay. So again, to get back into that menu, we're simply going to hit the home button, and then we're going to go into the options menu, and then we're going to roll down the screen, and we've just completed the Run Mask Fit test. If you're very sensitive to cold, and particularly in winter, there is the option to pre-warm the humidifier. To do that, you would highlight the Run Warm-Up setting and just press the button here. So this activates the warm-up feature, and while you're going away, get ready for bed, the machine will warm up so you won't hit that icy cold air when you first start in the winter time. The warm-up feature will run for 30 minutes, and then it will auto shut off if you haven't started your pressure flow by then. But usually you're ready for bed by then, and off you go. To stop the warm-up, you can simply press the button again. The last thing I'd like to show you is the aeroplane mode. And I show you this mainly because if you're a person that likes to listen to your radio at night, you might find that it interferes with the radio. My suggestion, the easiest thing to do is actually just to move the two items apart, and you won't get the interference. But another option is to turn it on to airplane mode. So airplane mode just deactivates the networking card from sending up the data from its connection, and to activate that, you simply press the button, turn it to on, and set the button. The only frustrating thing about this setting is that when you do run your machine and stop it in the morning, it will continually ask you every day, do you really want this setting on? So then you would need to either confirm it or deny it.